Okay, Ormonde view. That's the rain show. This is Ormonde view. Okay, we did not have this palisade when up to say it. It was constructed after year 2022. I sold my house in 2022. Ormonde view. The story of Ormonde view. In the year 2003, when we bought property here, what happened is that as immediate we got to our houses, there was already a bill for water and electricity that we never used. So then we called municipality to question why are we having such a bill, and then the municipality of the ANC sent us to and fro. We even had Pakstow addressing a meeting by that space which is now Sasol Garage, because Sasol Garage was built later. So by that space called Sasol Garage, we had a white tent where we had a meeting with the municipality of the ANC, questioning the issue of that billing, them telling us it is the building contractor which used all our homes and rather created that bill. We asked, but now, since at that stage the property was not ours, it was under the construction companies which are monitored by the government, and who are the ones also who constructed the streets and everything, which is not for our bill, all right? So it is a bill that is supposed to go to them as developers. So how come are we billed for water and electricity consumption of a developer, which was supposed to be their bill, and then Tina Siangena with clean slates to begin paying for services that we have used, instead of paying for the developer construction company? It was 3 different construction companies at that stage. Oh, we were just fighting with the ANC folk, and we are black. We don't have the power of legal access that white people have, which helps them to get away with a lot of evil as the white race. So in our black upbringing, we are not people unless you were a family full of criminals. Only those people had lawyers and the likes. So the rest of us, we grew up in clean life, did our best to succeed the right way. And most people rather got corrupted when they started working for the government or the white private sector. But otherwise, our bringing was clean. We frowned on criminality and the like. So we therefore were never legally cognitive. We didn't understand the law, or rather, we're not supposed to. We just living good lives and not harming anybody. Why are we supposed to come into conflict with the law? So we didn't have lawyers, and then so the ANC prevailed. I mean, think about it. The ANC prevailed against the entire township. That was before they built that second section. The first section ended in this house. It's still empty. They've never built a house. We don't know what happened with the space. So that's where, at this stage, okay, at this space, the last house is this one, which is a double story. This remains an empty space. Okay, the last house is this one. There, these flats, Ivan Koza's flats, were built in 2010, which is the second issue I'll speak about. The first issue is, okay, there are many issues, but I'm just going to focus on this. The billing in 2003, when we occupied our premises, where we got billed for, or rather the bill that was supposed to be allotted on the developer got billed into each our homes as blacks by the black ANC. All right. And we fought. Many people decided to never pay. In the year 2007, I settled that debt. But when you settle that with, or rather have good accounts with blacks like the ANC. Remember, these blacks who are in power are jealous people who rose up by bringing down other blacks. They were never smart in class. The ANC, from its inception as UDF, they promoted literal thugs as heads of townships to replace Zulus and Marashia men who used to be disciplinarian men of a township, who actually made it tough for thugs to flourish in townships. So the ANC, when they came, they decided to make thugs to be the measure, or rather the leaders of township, instituted what was called street committees, terrorized blacks and the likes. So the leaders, or rather the culture of the ANC, is to destroy great blacks and replace them with thugs. So hence the DA loves the ANC. The DA started promoting the ANC in the 80s, even before they became the DA, whilst they were called PFP, because they wanted exactly people who destroy blacks to be in charge of fake freedom, so that blacks can be destroyed, so that we miss whites and run back to whites as saviors. That was the plan from the onset. All right. The DA hated black conservatives, so I still suspect which is Steve Biko was not killed by Bure, but was killed by white liberals, hiding in the midst of Bure or the National Party, because white liberals are arch-enemies of black excellence. They love blacks who are losers, so that they can save them and become big mama, helping dummy kids, the blacks. That's how the white liberal politics operates. All right. So they love weak blacks, whom they can donate clothes to. Their second-hand clothes. They don't want blacks who fight for equal status in terms of material prosperity. They hate those kind of blacks, self-made blacks. They want blacks like Ramaphosa, whom they made. So they promoted the ANC for expressly those reasons. As white liberal media, Gabo Helen Zil, the Star, the Rand Daily Mail. Yeah, Rand Daily Mail was the major one, which promoted the ANC, and many other white liberal newspapers. All right. It was intentional that blacks failed. All right. That is why white capital went to meet those thugs in exile. All right. To sell us out. Because the duty of a criminal is to sell out as long as they see money. All right. So that's what caused all the destruction. So that's what happened here in Ormonde View. We got stuck with such a bill. Now, think about me now. In the earlier clip, or video, it's not a clip, it's a long video. In the earlier video that I made, I said the municipality billed me hefty bills in 2014. Okay, that's another story. And then I went to speak to them back then, and then they cut half of the amount, and then I paid for the rest. So I was broke until 2018, when I settled that half of theirs. I was wearing torn underwear at that stage. Remember, the BNB itself was sabotaged by them. I'm going to that when I go to the Ivan store, flats that I've just shown you. Now let's go to this bill of mine. I'm just passing through there. The second one got 2021. I said there. They then suddenly, my debt was 0.0 rands. They billed me 10,000 on October 2021. I was staying in Ormonde View. So I was staying at home in Soweto, renting out the property to tenants. So the tenants are not communicating with me. I don't know all these things. So obviously because they were not opening the bill, but I had told them to open the billing statement so that they pay accordingly. Anyway, so 10,000, I'm not aware. Next month they bill me 27,000. So in 2 months, the blacks of the ANC and EFF, because now it was ANC and EFF at the municipality, they billed me 40,000 for water. 40,000. And by the way, they have not built the road. You see this portion of the road is supposed to continue through here. They ate the money. All right. It's one of the things that they have not done. Long overdue. Anyway, so they billed me 40,000, my black self. They don't do that to Nigerians. to black foreigners, to whites. So I could see it was a direct sabotage to make me fail. After all, I've got issues with tribalism in Johannesburg Water, the vendors. So I felt targeted, obviously, because I speak about these things. So 40,000, I had to quit. I gave up. Remember, it is after 2020. We wanted to restore my B&B business from 2020. My friend Soliba Loyi, my friend, my Plascon friends wanted to help me so that we start the business again. But it didn't happen. Instead, in 2020, what happened is that COVID came. When COVID came, what was the point now of trying to restore a tourism-based business? Because that's the first line of business which goes down when things like that happened. So I gave up there, but yeah, I still kept the house. But when they billed me 40,000, I said, okay, this is it. I've made all prayers, I've given tithes faithfully, and this is what is happening. So here I call it quits. So I left. All right, so that again is billing by the ANC blacks against the black. When I inquired on Facebook, the white guy said, okay, they did the same to him, and then he went to demand to see the manager. They allowed him a manager. They allowed him a manager, and then within 24 hours his case was resolved. They corrected the bill and cancelled the debt for the white man. It's blacks who did that, of the ANC, the ones who say we are oppressed by whites. Now, but when it came to my black self, the same blacks never even gave me access to the manager. They mocked me. They said maybe there was a leak. I said, it's my house. You can even come now and check where there's even a digging. Because if there was a leak, then somebody closed it. For it to be closed, then the adjacent area will show that somebody dug. So come and show me who dug, because suddenly the leak that you're suggesting is not there. Who closed it? So I'm black. Under black punks who are losers at school, those who passed by 40% at tertiary and then became managers over those who passed at 80% because of nepotism, tribalism, that places Limpopo people above other people despite being the poorly passing province. Hence the DA loves those blacks, GNU blacks. That's the second point. Now let's come to the Ivan Khoza apartments I showed you quickly. There, what happened is, we look forward to 2010 World Cup. Remember, when I bought property in this area, my intentions were exactly tourism. I love mountainous areas. I would have bought my house in Naturena, because the same developer was developing here, was developing in an adjacent area, in a new area within Naturena, a beautiful spot overlooking Sun City, the prison. So, okay, that's Sasco here. All right. So, what happened there? I bought here in 2003 and said, I'm buying here because there's FNB Stadium, there is Nasrec Exhibition Center, which hosts the Rent Show and other shows, because we've come from Electra Mining as an engineer via Plascon, so there were always other shows happening at Nasrec. All right, so besides the Nasrec Exhibition Center, so I said all those people are kind of like tourists who would need accommodation, so would be the closest accommodation offering next to Rent Show and next to FNB Stadium. All right, so I bought. I also noticed, I said, okay, Johannesburg South is great. I'm not a Johannesburg North person. Neither am I a snob, by the way. I'm just a basic person. All right. So even if I was a billionaire, I'm just a basic person. I am not controlled by the amount of money I have. I'm controlled by who God said I am. All right. So that is why wealthy people don't intimidate me, or I easily maneuver between wealthy people and poor people. They're just human beings, all of them. So now bought the property. Okay, I forget what I was saying just now. I've got too many things in my head. Ne? So I bought. Oh, I also noticed there's there. Oh, I wanted to say there's that golf course that I mentioned down there in the earlier video. There's a beautiful golf course there, which is very hidden. Most people don't realize there's such a golf course. So it's FNB, it's Nazareth, it's the golf course. I said, okay, these are tourism offerings. Johannesburg is like a 10 minutes drive away. That's tourism by itself. And then there's all the nature reserves which are close by, like the Diepkloof Nature Reserve. So I say, this is best location, so let me stay here. And the reason I came to the Ormonde view site is the reason that I've shown you. Oguti Uksuga Xavier Reef, which is right next to that Sasol garage. To come to the Sasol garage is 3.5 kilometers when you are using a car, because there's no access path from there to the garage, which is next to you. So you've got to go all the way to Robert Sam. So when I looked at that, and then I looked at that, and then I realized they were not going to open that roadway. So I decided to stay on this Ormonde view site because of logistical reasons. But the original reason which brought me to this area was the developer at Xavier Reef. Their houses were different design, not common designs that you usually see in townships. So that by its own made me to love the area. My mother used to sell up the road. Cashbuild was up the road. She's the first one who sold there. That's another story of sabotage, again by blacks of the ANC who destroyed my mother's business. And today foreigners are selling off these streets. They don't demand the papers they made us to have. Foreigners have got a right to just sell because they are foreigners. All right, my mother got sabotaged up the road there by ANC blacks of Limpopo, the police, Metro Police, whatever. Though she had a permit. So all these foreigners of theirs, what permits do they have? What permits do they have? All right. And then bazokhuluma ngathi bathi thina siyamavila. Izinja, ANC blacks, izinja. Yeah. Ne-EFF yabo. They've made a racist white of the DA to shine in their racism. Claim that blacks are losers. Sis, because of the ANC. Anyway. Let's pause. Now, okay, all these factories were not there in 2010 when Mama was still selling there by Cashbuild. All right. Now, okay, I'm walking towards Diepkloof extension now. Na Nazareth Memorial Cemetery. So abanye abantu ke bazohlala eNazareth ngoba sebeshonile. Right, mina bengihlala khona ke ngiphila. Ngasabothajwa abantu abanomona who are called ANC blacks. Banomona even in townships. Those people are wicked. Abathakathi by nature abantu be-ANC. Since day one, we abathakathi. So politics or so-called democracy, its first prerogative was to defend sorcerers and impose them above us. Anyway, so ngophi that. Okay, ngiwisho ka Ivan Course. Okay, then I bought property here, and then I resigned from work and applied to rezone my property as a B&B. I never expected something that is supposed to take 3 months to drag for 1.5 years. It dragged and dragged for 1.5 years. A simple matter of registering the house to be rezoned as a B&B. It took forever. That by itself killed me. All right. That intentional delay by blacks of the ANC, called public officials, tourism companies, whatsoever, all of them. So anyway, Okay, when I bought it, let's go back to 2003. I was looking at all those tournaments and the Nasrec Exhibition Center. So I wanted to start the business whilst working at Plascon. All right, although my passion at Plascon was waning fast because of the conditions, especially the financial side of things, because they were underpaying me horribly. Okay, they're extending here. I didn't know. All right. That's Diepkloof extension there. All right. So I that's N1 basically. We are operating. No, wabuya basically saying this cutting was it now say futhi. That's N1. All right. When you pass, that's how N1 passes Soweto. That's what divides Soweto from Nasrec. Anyway, mine dump. So when they announced Soccer 2010, they killed me right there in terms of that plan. Yogo rana e-business whilst I'm working at Plascon. So we therefore concentrated on organizing trips. So our first trip in 2004 was back to Sterfontein, as per trips that Mom used to organize when we were young. Sterfontein Caves, and then we did Swaying in 2007, I think. Yeah. So we did it like that. Now, let's pause again. Done. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause again because I'm crossing this main road onto the freeway. Okay, it is Kobe. All right, so night jacketing back. Okay, so what happened there? I bought, and then they announced 2020 World Cup. I think it was announced in 2004. So we focused on doing trips because immediately they announced that it meant games at FNB were now to stall because they were now going to rebuild the FNB stadium. So that killed me right there. But we continued with trips, and then I tried to push myself at Plascon, where psychologically I was now completely getting out of it because of the ruthlessness of the system and inability to get another job in any other company, which was only my problem. Those are things we can't explain naturally or scientifically because they don't make sense. I applied and applied in vain. Everybody applied and got jobs, but I, as Bongani, applied and never got another job. So I was trying to then interpret this as God saying, let me go to business. I've always wanted to go to business. So I took something like, say, from 2004, deciding to get into tourism. I eventually left Plascon at 2008 September. So I took 4 years trying to make the business prosper. And mind you, I was working as a project engineer, which is a very demanding job, especially in a place like Plascon. It was very demanding. I had quit politics, but I was still doing politics to a lesser degree, which by itself takes a lot of time. But yeah, and I was mainly focused on my business side, restoring or rather upgrading the house, putting tiles, buying furniture, everything towards the B&B. That's what I was doing, fixing my gardens, and remember I was being paid peanuts at Plascon. Peanuts, all right. So I couldn't now get any income from the FNB side. And then Nasrec exhibition was a nightmare to try and access their market. It's noisy, man. It was a market, it was a nightmare to access their market. FNB, because now it was closed, the games were closed. Soccer people are easier to bring into your B&B, isn't it, than these stifled corporate people coming to mining Indaba and all those other entities, they go to 5-star hotels, those ones. So I couldn't get, therefore, tourists, even from the Nazareth exhibition, so-called rent show, because they too have got these listings. So all these listings demanded that you get registered first with the money, with the government. An unnecessary thing, honestly. So we went to register, and the government took forever to register me in a simple thing. And time is money. So by the time I get to that one, it is September 2008. But let me tell you, by the time of the Soccer World Cup, I had not managed to finish the processes of registering my businesses with the municipality because of other requirements they never tell you about, which only get revealed once you have completed one step, thinking you're done. Then they tell you, but you were also supposed to do this, and then you say, but I asked for every step that was necessary for me to start such an entity, and you only gave me these steps. Well, yeah, you were supposed to do this. It's none of their business. Time is gone, and at that stage I'm no longer working, and then my capital is fast getting consumed. I was balancing my business with being an investor in the stock market. I was always an observant person. I read Sunday Times, economics, everything that was happening, and none of that helped. None of the graphs of the stock market college helped. As soon as I switched from any investment, I was diversifying my portfolio, so I'd always have my investment in 3 companies, and all of them, as immediately I invested in them, the graphs will go down, no matter which industry, and then as soon as I took out the investments, the graphs would all go up. It happened many times. I think this is a joke. I once showed Lawrence, my neighbor, what was happening, and he said, you are bold to even do this kind of stuff. He said he would have committed suicide long ago, experiencing these things that I was going through, even in terms of investments. Think, these are not normal things which happen to other people. They did happen to me. These are not things you can explain naturally. This is the spiritual side of life, which actually controls the physical. Anyway, so, but I still fought. At that same stage, I'm applying for alternative jobs. It's not like I'm sitting and not still searching for engineering jobs. I am looking for not just engineering jobs. I'm looking for other jobs as well, because I'm starting to get desperate financially. Comes 2010, I literally begged. I went to government cubicles to leave my pamphlets so that I've got gas. Meantime, they are placing gas in stadia, in tents. And Ivan Koza, who's already bloated financially, the same bloated, greedy pig from here where I'm about to pass, because Umuzwaki, the original, is here. This is where the Black Stellenbosch of South Africa resides. Diepkloof Extension and Pimville. Those are punks and thugs that have ruined black South Africans, because Banamona, they don't want to be outperformed. They always ensure KZN never outperform them, using financial power and the access that they've got with white people who do have an issue with the Zulu people. So whoever they can use as a black to block Zulu excellence. All right, I'm sure that is also how they got to be soccer bosses, because soccer used to be owned by Zulus, by the way. After all, it came to Johannesburg via Zulus who took it from the Indians. All right. And soccer before 1950 was fully controlled by Zulus. Now you can ask how the white fans to those Soweto soccer bosses happened, such that soccer gets controlled by non-Zulus, whereas it was controlled by Zulus. Same as what happened to the taxi industry, because in everything, again, there's tribalism, there's racism. All right, so now Ivan Kozas and them constructed those flats quickly, and suddenly theirs were approved. Remember, we're talking with people who are millionaires already, and then their flats are approved quickly, and suddenly they've got all the tourists filling up their flats, and we blacks, many people invested in their homes, extending them because they were told they're gonna get tourists. They got 0.0 tourists. And actually there in Ormonde View, where we started this video, tourists were not allowed to even enter because we are wild animals who will kill them. So they were guarded like, it was as if it is in the military. Naturally, Ormonde View was supposed to have a lot of entertainment for after parties and the likes, but because of these greedy bastards, nothing. It was dead dry. Instead, when their fans came to FNB Stadium, all we received as Ormonde View residents is a lot of dust, because that area where I said is supposed to be the continuation of, it's not Main Reef Road, is it? Alright, the road that comes from Orange Farm that we crossed, which is supposed to have been connecting to FNB Stadium. I forget the name. It's a well-known road which goes by Freedom Park, Devland and the likes. Yeah, so that road, we went across it. It crosses further up the road there into the FNB Stadium. So they would bring their tourists. It was graded, there was no grass, so it was plain soil like this. Okay, I think my storage space is coming to an end, which is fine because I've been recording for a long time. So now, soil like this, so graded, they removed all the grass. So when they were coming to park, it's thousands of cars. All we would be getting is dust and dust to our homes, having to clean them thoroughly every next day, and getting 0 rands out of the 2010 World Cup, whilst Umkhaba Ivan Khoza became even more bigger. Ne ANC yakhe, very, very evil, greedy blacks. Worse than, or maybe same evil as white capital at Stellenbosch. And that is how 2010 worked out for us. I got nothing out of 2010. Absolutely nothing. I was the closest accommodation offering next to FNB and got no business because of the ANC. Whites got all the business, not us blacks. Ngendlela bengijwayele ukujima kuyo, sikhuphuka sehla masiqeda ukusuka le Ormonde View sigijime ngalo mgwaqo siyoshona ezone 2, sishona ezansi sibuya bese sikhuphuka ngeDiepkloof Extreme Park, size kanje noThando from Ormonde View bese sidlula la sizokhuphuka la kuma steps, up and down those steps, and then go back to Ormonde View. That's my story. Diepkloof Extension. I'm walking to Bara, guys, and then I'm going to I'll catch a taxi from Bara to Snawane. That also I'd use to save money because I don't have money. So if I can still walk, I'm walking from Robertson, so I'm close to Bara now, or it's gonna take another 30 minutes while the pacing is 7 side. So I'm gonna go through zone 5 via Extreme Park and then up to the Bara, and then catch a taxi to Snawane from there. I've saved 16 rand by walking from Robert Sam. It is important for me to save any money that I can save in order to survive. That's the story of a Zulu engineer in South Africa under the ANC sons of the DA. The most evil whites called white liberals, and their most evil black immigrants called the ANC and the EFF. We have suffered, we are suffering. Only God knows when will this plight come to an end. Kwa Ivan Khoza, ku Samuela. Thank you.